Ever since 2019, riding has been a huge part of my life. Now, I won't bore you with the whole story, but long story short, I got out of a very controlling marriage and looked at my life, and it was missing all the elements I really wanted it to have. Excitement and adventure and feeling free. So one of the first things I decided to do was enroll myself at the Harley-Davidson Riders course. I learned how to ride there, and that was the first and only time I was on a non-street bike. After I got my license, I got my first KTM RC390. It was a 2016, and I thought it was going to be a great starter bike. Fast forward, I sold that bike when I got a job on a yacht, and when I got back to the States, my second bike was also a KTM RC390, but a 2022 fresh out the crate. Fast forward, I decided I want more power. Shocker. I really fell in love with the Suzuki GSX-R 1000R. To my surprise, I found one brand new that I really loved, but it was at an Indian shop, Savannah Indian Motorsports. They just started carrying Suzuki, and I got mine there. 5 days later, guys, I took this bike from Hilton Head, South Carolina to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 508 miles, clocking in my highest mileage ride yet. That being said, I learned very quickly that I don't want to make a ride like that with a backpack ever again. Feeling a little bit sore right now. 3 hours into the ride, my back was killing me. I had to get off, rig the backpack up on the bike, and then made the rest of the trip just fine, but my back was like shot for a day. Which leads us to today's video. I've unlocked a new goal. I really want to ride from East Coast to West Coast, but I realized that it might be more practical if I have a cruiser. But I know nothing about cruisers. So, got me thinking. The guys at Savannah Indian Motorsports were super knowledgeable about all the bikes on their floor. So I called them up, and they're gonna help walk me through what might be some good cruisers for me to try. And they're gonna let me kind of try some on for a little bit. This is Chris. He sold me my Gixxer, and he knows a ton about these cruisers. Chris is going to help steer me in the right direction today.
This is a 2024 Indian Sport Chief. You're coming from a sport bike, and the reason I'm going to recommend this particular bike is your front suspension on this is just like your front suspension on your sport bike. So it's got inverted front forks.
Okay.
And you got dual disc brakes in the front. When you move to the suspension that's on the rear, it's running Fox shocks. So on your bike right now, although you have a monoshock on there, your suspension is going to feel very similar riding your sport bike. Seating position, although you're not going to be launched over as far, very similar as far as your legs is concerned, just a different angle, but you're not going to be all stretched out like some of the other bikes are. The thing you think about when you're going to a cruiser or something you're going to travel on, you're traveling on a bike that you're leaning over so much, like on your bike is now, it's not very comfortable. Whereas a bike like this, you're going to be more of an upright position, and then it's a bike that you can actually put saddlebags on. So if you wanted to carry some luggage or whatnot with you, so you don't have to wear a backpack like you do now. It's not a huge bike, but it does have more weight.
How much does it weigh?
I want to say it's between 650 and 700 pounds.
Okay, I'm interested to see how this handles.
You know, this might have close to the same amount of power, but it's moving almost twice as much weight. So it has a lot more torque, but overall it makes it easier when you're cruising down the interstate. Take it for a ride, let me know what you think.
Okay, I'll go get my helmet in a second. Good Lord, that is up there. I may be too short. He's a lot heavier. I'm excited. Upon ignition, the bike sounded different than I'm used to, so I wanted to play with the throttle a little bit, but quickly realized I'm not supposed to. I'm used to a high RPM bike, but this is a low RPM, high torque bike, and doesn't respond great to having the throttle play. So I won't do that again, and now that I know that, I'm ready to take her on the road and see how she rides. Take a pause to talk through my microphone. I put it inside of my helmet, but I don't think it actually picked up anything. First impressions, she's a big girl. I want to take out my hair. This is totally different than anything I'm used to. You know, I have my little Suzuki GSXR and I just like tuck my little body in and like lean in every turn, but this is not the case. I'm sitting very upright, arms very forward, and the weight distribution is so foreign to me, so different than what I'm used to. I need to ride her a little bit more to kind of get a better feel. Golly, I mean, this is the first cruiser I'm really riding, so it's very, very different experience. I was worried my legs would be a little too small because I couldn't reach. The kickstand is so far up. I was worried I wouldn't be able to like kick it back. Kind of a far reach for my 5'4" build. She's a beautiful bike. I feel really grateful to try her out and take her for a little ride. I want to take her down the road for a little bit more and see if I can get more comfortable. Let's check it out. I left the parking lot and rode a little bit longer, and my final thoughts are this is a smooth ride, but totally foreign from someone who's coming from a street bike. I'm used to like tucking into my little Suzuki, so the weight distribution is so vastly different than what I'm normally riding. So I definitely noticed this like my first few times I tried to take a sharper turn. It's almost as if it rides more like a boat. I had to widen my turn and my grip is wider and it feels like such a reach for me. I know it's kind of not a big deal, but in my head it feels like all of these elements are so different that it's just a completely different riding experience. Overall, I think it's a really hot bike, and I think the ride itself was really smooth and obviously more comfortable for longevity. I do want to try to extend my legs out and see how that feels also. So I am going to continue my search, but keep this one on top of my mind. I really want to make this East Coast to West Coast trip, and a cruiser is definitely the way to go. I'm very pleased with this first riding experience. Again, I think she's a really hot bike. I think that particular like shimmery pearly white color was really, really pretty, especially in person. I hope it picks it up in the camera. I just want to give one more thank you to Savannah Indian Motorsports for allowing me this opportunity to test ride these different bikes. They know what I'm doing. They know I'm like searching for the right ride for this big trip. So again, thank you to them for sponsoring this video, and tune in next time while we try a different cruiser.